right, let's get it. Let's get it.
What up, you guys?
I'm your girl, Kiara C. Hope, your style and feel good provider.
And I'm your girl, Arisa Yvonne, your life and style confidence connoisseur. Y'all know what time it is, so go ahead and grab your cups.
Because we're here to fill you up
on all things life, style, and everything in between.
How you doing? How you feeling, sis?
I'm doing good. Also, is it just me or do we nail the intro when we're like pulled together?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we just nailed this shit out of our intro.
We didn't do no redos and nothing like that. It was just bam.
It was boom, boom, bam. Maybe that's the key. I can't be coming on the pod looking dusty, and then I can deliver what I'm supposed to. Okay,
that's the feel good part, right? That's why we got to dress to feel good. Because then when we feel good, we can actually produce well.
Honey, because I don't know, but I was like, we nailed that shit. We did.
Facts. What's been going on with you?
Nothing much. It's been kind of a busy work week. No sports though. So sports have finally, the season is over. So we are taking a breather. He's not even playing baseball this season, which I am. Ooh. I know it sounds bad as a parent, but I am ecstatic about because we just need a break from the sports. It's been like a constant rotation. And so he was like, I think I just don't want to play baseball and I'll just wait for fall soccer. And we were like, great. Usually it's like, are you sure? Are you fine? We're not even going to ask you about it anymore. So we're enjoying that break. And then really just work's been a little bit busy this week. I've gotten quite a few, some new projects. But outside of that, it's been I can't complain. I honestly can't complain. How have you been, especially after our episode? If you all didn't tune into our episode from, I guess, last week, you definitely have to tune into that episode. It was just some wild shit, man. But how are you doing? It's been a week.
It has been a week. Yeah, it's been a week starting today, right? I am good. I continued my week traveling. So I went to New York after Baltimore. The bride team, we all met up and my girlfriend found her wedding dress. So I was still in like go mode.
Still in go mode. Shout out to her though for finding her wedding dress. That's exciting.
Yes, the first dress she tried on. The first dress.
Did she try on any other ones after that first dress? Or did she kind of try that one on and she was like, I know?
Yeah, you know what it was? Because I could see her eyes getting watery. I'm like, that's the dress. And she was like, you think so? And I'm like, you're getting emotional. And she didn't really cry. Like, she would get emo, but then like we were like, just try on other dresses first. And then when she put that dress back on, she literally cried. And we were like, that's it. That's it.
Dress shopping is so fun. That takes me back to when I had got to go shopping for my dress. I actually went with my mom and my mother-in-law to get that was like well before, I'm not going to say well before Say Yes to the Dress, but it was before like your friends were actually going to do that with you type of a deal. Like it wasn't as big of a deal. And so I just kept it real small, honey. Also, I know me, and so I'm like, I don't want all these outside opinions. And so it was just me, my mom, and my mother-in-law. And I actually tried on a dress outside of my budget. I will never forget. And I was like, they tell you don't do that because it's like, that's going to be the dress you fell in love with my dress. My mom was like, girl, we're going to make the shit happen. So we did. It was great. Oh.
I'm so interested in learning more about that because you had like an intimate group. We had about 6 of us. Would you, considering that experience you had, would you want your bridesmaids to have been there?
I actually think I can reflect back and I only had 4 bridesmaids because I also knew we didn't want a huge like wedding party. I'm all for everybody can do what they want to do. But to me, it just starts to look, I don't know, overwhelming when there's so many, like, some people have like 10, 12, it's just too much. So I was like, I'm picking 4. He had his 4. And so I was just like, I'm gonna pick these four. I honestly think I could have taken that group of girls with me, and it would have been fine. But I don't know. I've always been someone, I shop with my mom. I shop by myself. So it's like, don't go changing things up. Like, I just wanted it to be almost like a normal shopping experience for me. I don't need it to be over the top. I don't need, all this. Just put me in my dress, zhuzh me up like they did the whole nine. Because I will say yes to the dress was out by then. So they were doing the whole, let's put the fascinator on. I knew I didn't want to veil. We're going to put this on. It was a whole thing. But I can honestly say I could have taken them, and I do think it would have been fine. But I also think the way that I did mine was perfect for me.
So at the time, Say Yes to the Dress really amplified like a lot of experiences at that point for other bridal stores.
I definitely think so. I definitely think they changed the way that bridal shop, like the employees kind of poured into the brides that are coming in. And I can't really look. Let me also say, I wasn't dress shopping before Say Yes to the Dress was out. So I don't know what that experience at a bridal shop would have been like, but I will say it was a big deal. Like they brought you a sign, you rung a bell. It was, I don't know if they've always done that, but Say Yes to the Dress, I know for a fact, did all of those things and had your friends there and the champagne and all of that. So, I think that it probably did make for a better experience. I also went to a smaller boutique. It wasn't a small boutique, but it's not like it wasn't a David's Bridal, like a, national chain or anything like that. So I don't know.
That's interesting because this one, they did have the bell and we had like the signs and stuff. But, in my past life, I've done bridal styling, and you want to give that experience for this boutique. Like you had to pay for champagne. It wasn't free. And I was like, the AC wasn't working. They were like,
hold on. The AC wasn't working. Hot and sweating in this dress. I don't know if I can say yes if I'm hot and sweaty.
I mean, I need to say yes prop because I needed a fan up in there.
But I say yes to a fan and the AC getting fixed.
Listen, I was like, that was probably like the only hiccup, but I'm like, no water you're offering or nothing to drink at least? Like, that's the least that you
They didn't offer y'all a little bottle water?
No.
Not even the miniature?
No. I was surprised at
that. Gosh.
I was very surprised at that. I'm like, come on now.
Was it a well-known bridal shop?
Yeah. I was surprised myself because I'm like, I never even heard, and maybe of course that could be a thing for other bridal shops, like, it's a $50 charge. I don't know if it was per person to serve champagne, but that's like a part of the experience. I'm about to walk out spending $1,000.
Thousands of dollars.
Are you kidding me? You can't give me champagne for free?
And the champagne ain't got to be expensive. They ain't bad. Look, I knew when I tasted that damn champagne, I was like, okay, this is bad champagne. But they gave it to us, like,
right.
I ain't gonna hate on the experience, is what I'll say. You don't have to, be buying top of the line Chardonnay, but you can give me a little something.
Right. It keeps it's like a wedding party per se. Like it's like the pretty thing. You want to have everybody comfortable, and other than that, like, she was very attentive. She was there to help, but I would say that I like the fact that you had a more intimate setting, because what I've gathered in 48 hours of just having a group of women, a group of, baby, we finna elope. I'm finna elope. I don't want nobody to come. Only you might be invited, but I'm telling you. Girl. So when you ask me how am I doing, like the moment I got back to Atlanta is when I was able to think, oh, bitch, you ain't got no job on Monday, because it's been a whirlwind and it's just so many personalities. And I don't know who told me this, but someone said, you really see people's true colors when it comes down to funerals and weddings.
Oh, yes.
Yeesh, gabba. And it is true. It is true. So,
I don't know. It just, it's a lot. It really is a lot. It tests friendships, like And so I think it was like that's why it was so important for me too, with my own, to just kind of make it my own. Like,
Mhm.
it's gonna be my own little thing. I think our wedding was actually really dope. One thing I wish I would have done was hired a videographer,
Mm.
because for me it was just kind of like it was another experience. There's a whole I could do an entire episode actually about my wedding, and that would probably shock the shit out of folk. I can't remember if I've ever touched on it here or not.
You
But
explained the engagement, how he proposed,
yeah,
but
I
we
won't leave. I won't. We'll leave that story for, because when I tell you, it's a whole other story, and we have something to discuss. We have a topic to discuss today, so I'm not going to go there. But I will say, it's true. It really is true. Down from family members, friends, it really is. It kind of shows you who's in your corner, who's not, and so yeah.
Curious Georgia has to do some research because I need to understand the psychological reasons as to why people switch up. I don't understand. I mean, and I don't want to give too much details on the experience, but it didn't end well. And I just felt so bad for my friend. And I'm like, oh my God, why can't people sometimes just put themselves to the side, put their stuff to the side? I looked at someone, I said, I lost my job this week. And I'm still here trying to show up and all of this madness is happening.
Yeah.
You like literally ask someone, when you ask someone, so how was it? The first thing you're going to think of is the bad shit that occurred.
Yeah. Like you said, though, I feel like weddings, and like you said, weddings and funerals kind of show people their true colors. I think when it comes to weddings, and I'm just gonna say it, I think sometimes, especially as we're getting older, and you see if you're single and you're not married, and then you're seeing your friend like about to get married and possibly about to start this new life, there's a lot of, I think, underlying jealousy, if you will. Like, I don't want to be like, envious, but I think that could be part of it. Even, and I think that sometimes it's subconscious, but it comes out it comes out of people, even though they may not feel like I'm not jealous of her, like she's doing what she's doing. But if you've been like wanting marriage and wanting kids, and then your friend started dating someone, I'm not saying this is her situation, but 6 months in, this man done proposed, and now she's about to get married. You're just like, damn, bitch, like, hold on, like, we was just kicking it at the club 7 months ago, and now your whole life is about to change. And so I think that some people can roll with those punches, and I think that some people are kind of like, well, where do I fit in to this new scenario? Because now you're about to be married, and like most people, when you think of a marriage, things are going to change. Like, I'm not going to have as much access to this person because now she's married and all of this. And so I think sometimes feelings come out. Sometimes it's actually the bride. That's why we have bridezillas, that they change. And then all of a sudden it's like, and I think it should be all about you because you are a bride. But at the same time, you also have to be respectful of all of these other people and their personalities as well. So yeah.
That's a great point. That's a very great point. I didn't look at it that way, but I would love to know, for our listeners, for our viewers, like, have you experienced this? Please share. We would love to know more if you experienced this, because that was like, girl, we finna elope, go to Vegas and just say, hey,
with the shits.
Because the idea of just having a big wedding and having your friends and family there sounds like amazing, but the more that you deal with people, and then when people are under this sort of pressure, I guess, I don't know, it just turns me off. Like, yeah, y'all supposed to be celebrating me in my moment, and it's like you're kind of babysitting personalities at this point.
It's wild. That's what I'll say. It is definitely wild. I highly suggest, though, to anyone out there listening that is about to get married, do your wedding your way. And that is whatever that means. I know I am very much so someone who tells people, don't spend all of your money on the wedding, because after the wedding, there is the next day. And all of what you felt on the wedding day, it's not that all of that goes away, but all those people go away. And it's just you and you're left with your spouse. So it's like, do things that make sense. Don't go into financial ruin for a wedding for one day. And, if the marriage lasts 3 years, like, it's just, think about things is all I would say. think about what you're doing, but make it your own. Do whatever you want to do. You want to spend all your money and not have no money for a down payment? Do what you want to do. I'm like, but I think that a lot of people say it after the fact. And then when people are like, well, don't say that because, everyone, she wants to have her there. Or what? But you really realize the day after, damn, we just spent all that fucking money. Like, it's a real thing and people have it all the time. If you have the money to spare, it's one thing. But if not that you're pinching pennies, but if you're like going into debt to just put this wedding on for people, it's, to me personally, it ain't worth all that. It's just not.
I feel that. Well, let's get into this week's topic.
I like this topic. I like this topic. It's a good one.
This is a good one because I feel like, we're talking about influencing. I always feel like influencing, but more so where it is today. I was recently watching my girl, Politics and Fashion. We talk about her a lot. I love her YouTube channel. I love how she teaches. Like, she just speaks with so much. She's so poised and like so punctual. I like how she talks, but pretty much just talking about how, a lot of influencers out here just monetizing your brand. And she talks about a lot of like solopreneurships, how pretty much as an influencer, you're your own business and pretty much handling yourself and finances and admin and things like that when it comes to being a content creator, when you're making money on the right ways to do things. And it just made me think of like, man, how has influencing changing from when we started until now and where we are now, and just some things that, some ups and downs and like some advantages. And maybe this could definitely help someone listening that wants to step into that realm. So let's take it back when we first started. I know we touched on this a little bit in prior episodes, but I just wanted to like tap into like our mindset on where we were when we got into it and how did we feel? Like, what sort of things do you remember that were occurring when you first started as an influencer?
COVID shit.
You said what?
COVID.
Right.
That's what was really starting. I can honestly say, though, I felt like in my heart of hearts, I was trying to do what I thought a content creator was supposed to do. I would say in 2019, like the tail end of 2019 is where I was kind of like, look, I had a coworker, my gay bestie, Donovan. I would go into the office 2 days a week, honey. And when I say that, man, that he would take my pictures, he would hype me up. And like, I started posting, but it was literally like once every 7 weeks. Like it was, so it really wasn't. But in my mind at that time, it was like, I'm trying, like I'm doing something. And so I would say that's when I first felt like I was trying to dip my big toe in there. And then in April of 2020, that's what was going on, was COVID. It was, we were shut the fuck down. And so that's like, I was just stuck. I feel like that's where I was mentally, is I'm stuck in this house. Carter was 3 at the time. So it's like, I have a 3-year-old, I'm working from home, Matt's working from home. We're all on top of each other. And I feel myself mentally slipping. Like I'm slipping, I'm falling. I can't get up. And it was so apparent that Matt was the one that came to me and he was like, yo, you're gonna have to do something. I don't know. And it just so happened that Maddie Lives had been going on in March, like started that March, and she did that consistency challenge. And I was just like, I'm going to do it. And so I did. And that's kind of where I got my, like mentally though, I can be honest with and transparent. I was about to slip back into a depression because I was like, this is too much. Like I was just coming out of like moving out of the depression. And it was like, oh my God, like, now I'm about to start going backwards. So that's where I was, I can honestly say, mentally. And that's what pushed me to just go for it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Because I'm going to be depressed if I don't do anything. So just try it, bitch. Just try it.
So what do you remember? Like, did you have like mood swings? Were you real like irritable? Like, what do you
I was
remember?
irritable. I hated. I'm gonna be like, it's gonna sound dramatic, and I don't genuinely think that I felt that way. But if you know anything about depression, it really is. It's a mental illness. Like there are things occurring in your mind that may not be occurring in real life. So you may have these big feelings, but it's not really how you feel. So when I say this, I want almost people to take it with a grain of salt, but it was like I felt like I was resenting the life that I'm resenting the fact that I have a family. I'm resenting the fact that I have a baby. I resent the fact that my husband has to work from home with me because now we're all here. Like it was literally like it was an overwhelming, like, I don't want to do this. Like, where can he go? Where can I go? And you couldn't go. Literally, I could not go anywhere. Couldn't go to daycare. Daycares were shut down. My mom and my parents and Matt's parents took it like as you should have. Back then, we all thought, look, we were about to fucking die. If you breathed in COVID, you was out the door. And so rightfully so, people were taking it serious. So there were no, oh, he's going to go spend the night, or, oh, it was all day, every day. I was going insane. Like, I can honestly say I was going insane. And if you're a mom, and even if you've never experienced postpartum, I would just like to know if you had those overwhelming feelings, whether you had one child or three, because it was a lot. It was just, it was hard to adjust to that quote unquote new normal. And coming from someone, like I said, I was knee deep in postpartum for about 2 years, pulling myself out at about like the 2.5, pushing into 3 years. So that was the end of 2019. And we go into a lockdown. So it wasn't like I was even the version of me that I am right now. I was still very much so in a healing, still trying to deal with triggers, still trying to deal with all of this. And it was like just dumped all back on me all at one time. It was a lot.
So now you're getting into creating, and how are you feeling?
Good. I knew I wasn't good per se at it at the time, but you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to be like, I can honestly say when I signed up, I was like, I'm going to win this fucking Maddie James show. Like, that was my mentality. I'm going to pour my all into this. I'm going to win. Like, I'm going to do it. And so I felt good. I just felt like, it felt like this was something I always wanted to do. And so when I'm starting to do it and I'm having to on the fly just come up with things because I didn't have a process. I had no strategy. I literally didn't know what I was doing. We did have a camera because, like I said, it was something that I knew I wanted to do way before. So I had this Canon EOS. Matt's like, I'll take your damn pictures. Like, just okay. And so it really was, but it was like, it was refreshing. It felt like something new, but something I've always wanted to do, and it felt natural. I think that was what was so wild. It was like I just went into it naturally. I didn't have any like, oh, I got to do something today because I have to have something for tomorrow's challenge. I knew I wanted to be consistent and post every day, so it was like a goal. And so it was just, I'm pouring my all into it. I'm just gonna do this, and so I felt accomplished. I honestly feel like that's kind of what I felt, especially at the end of it. I was like, I did this so much so that I was like, I'm doing this again in June. And by June, it was like it was like not just COVID. It was like we had George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all of these things that had come out. So then it was like, now I had something to keep fueling the creativity. Like I was able to tap into other things that were going on and then put my spin on those things creatively. And so it was refreshing. I felt accomplished. And in the moment, it was like, I just knew I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. Like I felt the weight lifting every time I would create something, every time I'd have to write a caption, every time I would post something. It was just like, I'm like,
creative relief.
But what about you? Because we started at the same time. You may have started a little bit before me.
Yeah, we started around the same time. I was coming from styling in New York because I had just recently moved back to Baltimore. So I would post back in the day, but it was never like as intentional as I started to get. So when the pandemic hit, me and my sisters, we had a place and beautiful, beautiful home, and we had like this brick wall. And I would just see more people talking about what to do, like they're locked down, they don't know how to pretty much express themselves or create, they don't know what to do. And then I as well came across Maddie James and the consistency challenge. And for me, I'm like, well, I love fashion. I can still pursue fashion, but just in a different way. Because, I can't be around nobody to style them. So I was like, oh, shit, let me put myself in the forefront. And at that time, like, I still love blogging to this day. I've invested in like a WordPress blog, and I was writing, blogging about my outfits, like in the house. And I remember one day I was like, I'm going to do like an at-home brand shoot, because I'm seeing all these big influencers doing these shoots and they're home, like Monroe Steele. Love that girl. She killed it during the pandemic. Okay,
she really did.
She still got a coin.
Really did
During the pandemic. She inspired me because she was taking her content at home and it looked freaking amazing. I was like, that girl's work ethic is unmatched. So I remember I went to the dollar store and I had brought like this little flower, and I had like this pretty cream dress from Target. And we had like this fireplace, and I just propped up my camera. I didn't even think I had a tripod. I had like a notebook. And I'm like, we gonna figure this shit out. That's the time when we were like using presets, when presets were the thing.
Oh my God. Do y'all still using presets? Let us know.
Baby, there's people that make coins off of creating presets, because I would go on Etsy and I would find a preset, but then you needed a preset that matched your complexion. I have this like white ashy preset. Me not knowing, I'm just like, I just needed something to like brighten my photos, because at that time you think that you need all of these tools to help you, and you're like, and instead, like if we were to take a step back, we had a lot of stuff that we already needed. But again, that's at that time. And I took the photos, and they came out really good. And to the point, like even that dollar store, Dollar Tree, liked my photo. And I was like, and somebody was like, you need to be doing this. You need to be doing this. And it's kind of like as a child, when you're not thinking nothing of it, like we were just experimenting. We were really just having fun experimenting and just trying this new realm. And it was so much fun back then. I remember we also had like those groups where like to follow me, those overwhelming ass groups of women in there. It was cool until it wasn't anymore, because now it felt like they were forcing you to like every photo and then follow them, and that became a little exhausting. But when I did the consistency challenge, like you said, you have to be always thinking about what to create. So she would give me, that was like on the fly. So I would think about your past. If you're starting over in Baltimore, tell people about your journey as a stylist. Tell people, and I would just think of new ways to keep creating and like repurpose older content. And like to your point as well, it felt good doing it. It felt really good doing it. And then that's when I came up with Tap Into Some Good. And it was like through that consistency of just showing up, posting, being yourself. At that point, I was like, yo, I've always just said I'm just a vessel out here, just showing other people that they can do it. Like I didn't want to overthink it. And a lot of the people in my stories I knew, so it made me feel comfortable until I would see new faces. And I'm like, well, listen, this is who I am. You're either going to take
it or leave it.
That's it. And it just kept growing and going from there.
I love it. I think that a lot of people probably found, like, I think a lot of content creators and influencers, although some people probably have burnt out and it fell by the wayside, but I do think a lot of people found that lane at that time, because it was like you didn't have anything else. It was like, okay, I'm off from work. I can't go to a bar. I can't go to a restaurant. You could barely go grocery shopping, like it was so, there's right. Nothing to do. So I genuinely feel like a lot of content creators were birthed during that time. And even the ones that were already creating, I feel like you saw the ones that were able to take the situation that we were in and really like expand upon it. Like you talked about Monroe Steele. I think about the Maddie James. To me, even Hilo Lux. I think she really kind of took off all around that time because you had to start thinking creatively. Like it's really what put people. You had to think creatively to get the content out there because you couldn't just be out there and get the content. So
like you said, it showed a lot of creators' strengths because you also had to be personable. It wasn't about shiny things and selling beautiful things. It was like, so we're in the same predicament. So you tell me, how can you inspire me now? Because before then, we're looking at you for inspiration and you're throwing products our way and you're talking about this. And now you got to be like, okay, I'm in the house just like you. Now I have to think of a way because I always feel like there's some sort of social responsibility when it comes to influencing and just having people being drawn to you, and people are taking tips and tricks from you. So there's some sort of guidance that they get. It's not like saying that they live by everything that you say, but if you have a community that who is solid, and you can think of 10 solid people right now, they follow you for a reason and they believe in your word. So for
that
me,
that is so true.
mm-hmm.
What you just said is very true. Go ahead.
And I just thought to myself, like, I should have looked up some articles because I know that there were some influencers that had a hard time with creating in general because they felt like they had nothing to talk about.
Because a lot of people, I think it showed the depth or lack thereof depth for a lot of creators. I think prior to the pandemic, the outfit inspo, just the picture with a Drake one-line bar caption was enough for a lot of people because I just am trying to see this look. Where'd you get it? And let me hop off of here and go on. I think that the pandemic forced people to be open and to have to almost story tell. And that's one thing I will credit. I feel like Maddie James was because I'm assuming she was already doing that, and that's kind of where, because she was already kind of making money before the pandemic. I think that she understood the art of storytelling and how you telling your story and putting yourself actually into your content, like your story into your content, is how I build a community that is going to trust me, that will go out and buy these things. That to me shined a light on those type of creators. And so people had to pivot. If you were already a larger creator, you think of a Makeup Shayla or a Jackie Ina, they were kind of already hitting millions if they weren't already. So they had that base that was, they're going to tune in no matter what. But if you were, I don't even think Maddie James had 100,000 followers at the time of the pandemic. And I think that it shined a light on the smaller influencers. Is like, oh, we're not going for this shit anymore. Like, we're not just going for your eyeshadow look and that's enough. Like, girl, I'm over here struggling. I'm not wearing eyeshadow where am I going with this eyeshadow look? So I need more. And so I agree with you. I think it definitely, it shined a light on influencers who could pivot and kind of roll with the punches, and those who kind of were like, they had a crutch, if you will. And it doesn't matter if they were using what it was as a crutch. It was exposed that it was a crutch via the pandemic. So, it did.
Did you make any, do you remember any investments you made?
I didn't make any. I think I did buy one of Maddie James's $100 courses, but I'm gonna be really keep it funky with y'all. I didn't, and I say that because I'm not saying that I'm not willing to learn, or that, because I love learning, and I think that you always have an opportunity to learn. But I will say that another thing that was birthed during this time was everyone becoming an expert on everything. And at the end of the day, everybody can't be an expert on everything. And so I think a lot of people may have been, I'm not going to say they were getting scammed. And I'm not saying that what Maddie James was doing was a scam at all. But when I paid for her little $100 course that I did, and it was the exact same material that you had pretty much been giving on a free weekly live, it for me, it was like, oh, this is what y'all doing? Oh shit, I don't need, you know. And for me, I'm gonna skip the coins. And at the end of the day, if you listen to people, if you really listen to what people are saying, not just the fluff and all the graphics that they put out and all that, listen to what they were essentially. She was telling you to be yourself, to figure out what your things are, to do like, and so at the end of the day, someone can't teach me how to be me. Now, if I'm going to take a course and invest in something, it needs to be something specific that's going to build upon the brand. And I just, for me, I haven't been in a position where I feel like I need that right now. Not that it'll never be needed or it'll never come. But I have, my dad's a business owner. If I want to talk about what I need to do to own an LLC and all of that, I can get that from people that I already know. So it's like, I don't feel like I have to make those types of investments again right now. I'm not saying forever, because I do want to take this thing somewhere. So eventually, you never know. Maybe I'm not paying for, information, but maybe I'm paying for other things, outsourcing, who's going to edit this video type of thing. I don't know, but I didn't invest in anything outside of $100 Maddie James course. I did purchase a blog though on WordPress because everybody was like, get a blog. Ain't never released the blog, ain't never put a post on the blog, but I still own it. I do still own the blog because I do feel like that was to me an investment in me that I was like, I know one day I'm going to need all of this. And so I'm going to go ahead and make that investment. So I did do those types of things. I bought me a site and all of that jazz, and I still have it. It's just there ain't nothing on it. It ain't never been published, but it's there.
That's a really good point. I did. I made a few investments because I was really interested in just because I feel like content creation is so much deeper than just like creating content. It's a calling for me because it gives you the ability to do exactly what you love, and you can create so much different stuff in this atmosphere, whether on YouTube, whether on Instagram. Like, it gives you the ability to create your ideas freely. And for me, I was like, nah, I need to learn more of the lingo. I need to learn. So what I would do is, if I were to like go on a blog, I would look at what type of freebies some bloggers were like providing. And Kate Aarons, I love her. Kate Aarons, she has a blog called Wit and Delight, and it's more of a lifestyle. She started out as with fashion, and what she did was pretty much created a course on Skillshare. So I was heavy on Skillshare, and I completed her whole program on just pretty much understanding how to brand yourself. So I wanted to understand branding. I wanted to understand, like, when it comes to poses and just how to connect with your audience. And I did also invest in Maddie's, was it the Convert Kit or something like that?
I can't remember what it was.
Something like that. I think it's the same one that you also invested in. I invested in that as well, but it was so, like you said, it was her lives. And when you're watching her lives, and this is the one thing, if you are trying to be a creator, or like, not trying to be, we're all creators, but it's just solidifying your road in what you're supposed to be doing. Everybody's asking the same questions, bruh. Everybody's asking the same questions. And if you just stop and you listen, and like Reese said, her answers do not change. There are like lives now that I watch where the same people are asking the same questions, and like the moderator's just irritated because y'all not listening. Y'all not taking time to take a step back and be like, the answer's already there. I'm good. I got my information. I don't need to go on overload. I think at that time when starting content, it became too many resources that you start really questioning yourself, and you're like, yeah, no, this ain't for me. No, but you're not listening to the gems and tools that you need. And then you go ahead and take that back and execute it. So for me, it was like, all right, I'm done. I don't really need to make any more investments. And after, I even invested in Moreau, had one too, on how to be a blogger, because what she still does to this day, I'm always give it to her. She still writes. She still has blog posts.
I have not been on her blog in so long. Like, I genuinely didn't even know she's still out here. because a lot of people, it's falling by the wayside. I
Yeah,
think even Maddie James, like I would have to look it up to know for sure. But she used to be heavy on the blog, and
heavy.
now I don't feel like I hear that much about it. So I'm gonna have to check out Monroe's
Do you
blog.
miss that?
I don't know, because I will say I feel like when I was into blogs, I don't even know if people really even remember, but I followed way back in the day. Shirley B. In Yang, I think is her name. She was on YouTube. She had a blog. And I followed Patricia Bright's blog. She had a blog. And so I was back, that was like way back though. And it was before I think I even knew Maddie and Maddieology, because that was her blog. I think her first
Mhm.
blog. I don't know. I think I am someone, I will say, I adapt to what the medium is in the moment. So when blogging was kind of the thing, I feel like I was reading people's blogs. I was invested. I was interested. When blogging kind of fell off and like there was a huge YouTube shift, I was just into YouTube, like on that phone. Then we switched to Instagram. It's like I kind of go with the medium.
Mhm.
But I will say I want to get back into blogging, because not only I want to read people's blogs and just have that different like perspective, because I do feel like you're able to expand on things on a blog. You can actually read and see other things. And I also just want to kind of absorb and that inspiration, so that when it comes time for me to launch, whether it's a blog, my website, or whatever, I just have an idea of more so what I would want to do. So
Mhm.
I don't right now, I'll be honest, but it is something that I've thought about. Like, I kind of want to start just reading blogs again, just seeing who's blogging. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
who's out here doing it?
It's funny. So on my last trip, because I'm finishing up my vlog for my travels, and on my website, I'm like, I want to get back to writing. And I feel like I've told you this before, like, let me just revamp this into a blog. And whoever goes on the site, you're going to see my blog posts. And of course, you'll still see my portfolio and things like that. But I just want to write a snippet, because now influencing has turned into personality, personality. They want to see a personality. And it's like you can still get to know someone through reading. And that was the connection that we had back in the day. That's how we fell in love with people, was just reading about their joys and their delights and things like that. And I'm like, things are moving so fast in content creation and just where things are going, that's why things are falling by the wayside, because everyone's trying to get it fast. And it's
Mhm.
like, all right, now we moving so fast that we're missing the beauty of how this was even born. I come
So
from the
just
days
slow
of
it
when
down.
I interned for Fashion Week. There were bloggers. Everyone was like sitting on the floor on their laptops because they were writing about write-ups about the fashion shows they just saw. No one was like taking video, and it's just like I miss the old days. I miss the mixture of. I still love reels and stuff, but there was like more authenticity and more depth in what you were doing with your content, as far as like making a 6-second reel and just trying to be catch me, like follow me real quick. So those are like some things that I miss for sure.
Do you feel like as as an influencer, because you just said something about it makes me think of diversifying. So do you feel like influencers need to go back to diversifying their content? Because everyone, I also feel like when all of these different things started popping up, everybody's just like, oh, repurpose your content, just do this and do that. But now, like, if you really think about it, there are different mediums. Like, even to me, YouTube, like regular YouTube and YouTube shorts, even though they're both on YouTube, they're not for the exact same thing. Like, I would personally use a short to get you to click on my longer form video. Like, that's just my mentality now when it comes to diversifying my content instead of truly just always repurposing. So do you think there is a difference between repurposing and diversifying? And do we need to get back to diversifying our content?
I think now is a perfect time to do so. Because now that we know that there are so many options, so many tools, you can write, you can drop a newsletter, you got TikTok, you got Twitch. There's so many platforms. I feel like if we understand that we don't need all of them to succeed. Like we need some of them, but it becomes overwhelming because there are so many. Like everyone needs a YouTube channel because YouTube is a guaranteed check. You put the time in it, you put the consistency. It's as hard as we have went hard. If you think about it, if we were going that hard doing YouTube videos, at this point, we'll be well over 100K followers. Like, and it just sat there, and I just sat there and I said, damn. But I feel like Instagram is that number one step. I think if you work that muscle and you get a feel, if you like content, Instagram is the internship.
I could agree with that. And YouTube is a lot. And it's not a lot in a bad way. I think it's just more. Correct. If you're like, you know what I'm saying? So
YouTube is the job. YouTube is
a commitment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not to say that Instagram is not a commitment, but it's two totally different kinds of commitments. Like, especially from, if you even think about Instagram, when we first started Instagram, Key, to the Instagram that is now, we didn't have to do video. We didn't have to do reels. You could literally take a picture, edit the picture, throw the motherfucker up there, put a little caption on there. And I will say, I think during our time, we had to be a little bit more intentional about our captions because, again, we were coming up in that people don't give a fuck about your Drake bar. You know what I'm saying? We're in the middle of the pandemic. Inspire me because I'm in the house and I'm ready to like risk it all. You know what I'm saying? So people really wanted to know, like, I'm not alone. You know, whatever the case might be. So we did have to do, I feel like we entered the Instagram game at a time where it took more to get somewhere, even on Instagram, but it was different. Like YouTube, especially back then, you weren't creating video content outside of getting on a story. I didn't have to worry about a video. I didn't have to worry about chopping a video up and editing it. And YouTube, you still had to do that. So I think YouTube has even changed a little bit and has become a little bit more relaxed because of what the viewer expects from the creator. Because you think about when we first started Instagram, Key, the creators on there, I mean, it was like a production. It wasn't like, oh, these are just people in their home and they're recording. It was like, who are y'all paying to do all of this? Because this is a lot. Like, okay, Jackie on. Like, I don't have the money to do this, nor do I have the time. It was very much so a production. I think now on YouTube, people want it to be a little bit more digestible and they want it a little, you know, less production and more who are you. So it's more acceptable. But I don't know. For me, it was just like that was YouTube. YouTube just seemed like you said, that's a second job. Like I gotta create the video, I gotta edit the video. I have to try to, in my mind, meet the standard of these production teams that these no, girl, get your ass on Instagram, post that picture right at the day because we're not doing all of this. So but it has changed. My mentality on that has changed. I'll say that. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
On diversifying your platform?
On YouTube, because I feel like YouTube has since in and of itself has changed. I think YouTube, I don't know if it was YouTube that changed. I don't know if it was the viewers that changed because there was an expectation. And I would say even from me that there was, because that's what we were given. You all are producing these high quality highly produced videos. I mean, it was a lot. And now I can just sit here in my house, pull up, show you the shirt. I don't have to cut to a clip and now I'm jumping in it. And it was a lot. It was a lot. You know, it was a lot.
I agree. What is one thing you wish you knew as you were stepping into influencing this realm, this career?
Okay, let me try to. Do I want to answer this from what I wish I knew personally, or what I wish I knew as a creator going into creating? I'll answer both.
Okay.
Personally, I wish I would have always known that my life, like I was enough. Like what I was doing was enough. What I could give is enough. People would tune into me just for being me, because there was a time where, not that I thought all of these people weren't themselves, but like it seemed out of reach, because it was like, I'm not good enough. I don't do makeup well enough to teach somebody how to do makeup. I don't have enough money to show you how to dress, because I can't afford luxury, especially back then. I couldn't afford luxury and all. But in my mind, those are the things you had to have in my mind to be able to be a creator. And I wish I would have known and believed in myself enough, that I didn't need all of that, that I didn't have to be an expert, that I could genuinely just love what I love. Like, I love makeup and I love my style, and it would be enough to put out there to the world and people would receive it. That's what I would say personally. From a creative perspective, I think one thing I wish I would have known sooner, it's almost the same thing, is to kind of just really lean into being who you are. Like, don't fall into the whole niche thing. Like, I have to have a niche and this is my niche. Really just saying, I am my niche. Whatever I like is my niche. And whatever I like, the people are gonna show up to. And also, I would say, the other thing I would say is how much time that goes into it, because not even just the overthinking content and posting and all of this, but the time to actually think up an idea, execute the idea, make the idea digestible and palatable, and then putting that idea out there. I think that I didn't understand when I was on the, like, I'm just the person who's scrolling, how much mentally that takes on the person who's putting the content creation out there, whether they're overthinking it or not. Content creation is truly a production. It is knowing and understanding your audience. It is knowing and understanding all these pictures I have. How can I narrow it down? What am I going to put with these pictures? What's the right caption that should go with? Because it's not just, or at least for me, it wasn't. I would look at my pictures. I would look at what's around in the background, because, I'm just outside or whatever. What in this picture sparks? What is it sparking? And then I'm going to create the story from there. And so you used to always tell me how you enjoyed my captions. That was my creative process when it would come to writing a caption. And so that's an entire process. So I don't think, I think as someone on the outside looking in, that's one thing that I didn't understand, that this is a machine. Like, you become a machine based on your consistency, but it's like, you have to kind of become a machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, the content ain't going to create itself. You wanting to like the picture, that comes from what I'm putting into the content that I'm putting out there. It ain't just, I'm just here by a brick wall. Like, it's a whole thing. So that's what I would say. What about you? Because I think that's a great question.
One thing you said about becoming a machine, it's like essentially, last week or 2 weeks ago, I went to the Sip and Reach tour that Nancy held, the first one in DC, and Juju Styles was there. And she literally said, she was like, people need to stop thinking that content creation is a part-time job. This is not a part-time job. If you're really into this, this is a full-time, could be your full-time career. This is a full-time job. This is another job that you're deciding to take on. And when you become that machine, that just made me think of, all right, a machine has to continue operating, because we're pushing content. The behind the scenes of creating, you have brain dumps. You have to think about where you are in life. You have to think about if you are into what's trending, reels that'll help your business. Like, it is so many different components to creating that one 10 to 30-second video that you may see. But behind the scenes, the creative process of how we envision it to come alive, like you said, it's a production. That's why I would joke and be like, production team, what is we doing?
You've been calling it a production team forever too. And it truly is what it is. Whether you're on your own, whether you have a partner, like I thank God that I have Matt who can shoot my photos. I want to get back into shooting photos because I really am in a free space, like a free place in my content creation. Like shit, I'm just putting the shit out there. And not that I'm not still creatively thinking about it and all of these things, but I'm not holding back. Like there was so much that it was like, I don't want to, I can't put, I'm not the girl, put the shit out there. Okay. I don't care if I'm trying on one piece in a haul or 15, bitch, it's a haul. Here you go. Putting it out there. Like I'm not gonna keep on getting hung up on.
Oh my God, the pressure with hauls that you needed like 10 to 15 pieces just to consider it a haul was crazy.
Girl, I just posted a reel today trying on one pair of pants from H&M. Bitch, it's linen pants. Summer staple. You can make it something, but you in your mind, again, it's a haul. So a haul means I done bought at least 10, like you said. Girl, I don't care about all that shit no more. Y'all gonna get this. I may not call it a haul. I'm gonna call it a quick try on, but you're gonna get this one piece and it's gonna be what it is. I'm not playing.
Enough, I was talking to Juju and she was telling me that when it comes to like, I don't know if they're specific Amazon influencers, but when people are pretty much shooting and like saying, come to my storefront, a lot of these girls are returning. They're buying like the Amazon products, shooting with them, and then returning them. So then us, the consumers, go ahead and buy, and we're actually giving them the money. And she said Amazon is starting to catch on. And I was like, what?
What?
Yes.
That's so far from who I am. I think that's the people that are influencing one on a different level. And I think that goes to me, what are you in it for at the end of the day? Because I think it's one thing to get paid off of influencing. It's one thing to want to be paid off of influencing. But I do think your intentions, and this may just be me, if your intentions when you very first begin and are going into it, like that is your only intention is to get money, you will find yourself having to do those types of things. I would never in my mind order something from Amazon. That's why I'm somebody, I will hold on to something forever. Like I be feeling bad because it's like, I'm not somebody who this just never been me. I buy something that I like. I don't have to wear it tomorrow. I may not wear it next month. It may take me 3 months because I may have to find like I acquire other things, and I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be just outfit. Let me pull this shit out. So now the shit's sold out. Like that's why I clown myself all the time. I am literally the worst influencer. If we're talking about go buy things and buy, because I'm so like. I want that in a sense. You're like, but that's not all I'm here for. I don't want you to dress like me. I don't want you to just buy these things because you saw it on me. I want you to think about, like, I want to inspire you in the way that it's like, I trust that myself. Like, I'm going to go and buy something that I like and I'm going to put it on and I'm going to feel good about it because that's what I want to do. It's not about you going to buy this exact shirt that Larissa Yvonne has on and her skirt. And if you put it on, you can be like Larissa Yvonne. No, that's just not me. So it sounds wild, but it ain't. Because I know there's so many people that are just in it for literally for the check. And I don't feel like, even though politics and fashions is telling us all the time, get your money, I don't think that's what she means. She's not like, scam these motherfuckers, get the money out of them. She's very much so, don't give away your gifts for free. Not necessarily, you know what I'm saying? So that's a different mentality than someone who's buying shit off of Amazon, showing it to the girls, having all these people go purchase it, and then you return it. Girl, I would fight. And can I say something that's probably gonna strike a chord? I almost feel like, and this is just me, you can weigh in. I be feeling like that's what them Amazon drops are, though, at this point. Do y'all even wear your own Amazon the drops? Like, after you promote it to get everybody to go, I don't ever see 95% of these people in those pieces ever again.
Who's the 5% that you see rock them?
I would say really, it's only one person if I'm being completely honest.
Because I'm like, you're so right.
The notorious KIA. I feel like not so much anymore, but I do feel like even shortly after her launch and all of that, I feel like I still saw her in some of her stuff. Not as much anymore, but it has been over.
Right. That's true. You are right about that one. You don't see them rock them. You don't see them style their own stuff. It's all about leading up to that point of the drop. That is so true. But it
So
is that part about, and correct me if I'm wrong by saying this, that's the part that feels fake. Because this is a
you
numbers
right.
game. This is business. Amazon is giving you a quota. Hey, we're not going to sell this number because you have the influence, you have the numbers, you have the people. So we need you to do all the work and all the content before before this date. And then whatever happens after that, we already made our money.
But it's wild. Like you think about Signed Blake, and I love Signed Blake. I don't know, if y'all follow her. Okay. She's had like 5 collections. After each collection, I'll never see her wearing that shit again. I'm just saying. But I will also say, this is something else I will also say, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it because, and look, if it don't happen, it just wasn't for me. So it is what it is. I used to be someone who thought I wanted an Amazon collection. There are a few things that I have now. No, one, I don't want an Amazon collection because everything, I feel like they have almost a template. And it's like everything falls within this template. And you can change the cargo pocket. You may change, where it's placed or whatever. But essentially, it's like everything has almost been done. I think the Notorious KIAs was so completely different. That's why hers was like such a hit. I will say that. But even Signed Blake's, it was like some of this was regurgitated just in a different color. And I get it's different seasons and all of this. But then the fit, like the fits weren't right. And, I know they had to do different things to make it size inclusive. But then it was like, then I found myself not wearing the shit. And I'm like, am I not wearing it because they ain't wearing it? Or is it just not that good? I've gotten rid of almost all of my Amazon the Drop pieces. If I'm being 100%
really
keeping it funky, literally have given it to Goodwill. I don't know who's rocking them pieces, but it ain't me.
Child, I never even bought the jacket I got from you. I never even wore it. That's the Kayla Walker.
The Kayla Walker?
I never even wore it. The one that I love the most, and I still rock that skirt from time to time, is that Monroe Steel colorful gradient color skirt. I love the colors of that skirt, but I really don't even wear the shirt because I hated the buttons.
That little button thing? Oh! I was like, she should have not done that. If we took that off of the shirt, it was almost perfect.
That is what they sell. I mean, and I'm not trying to come for rainbow, but that is a rainbow sleeve. Like that's like, come on. So to your point, the quality of some of these pieces, basura, and they're charging what, $60. You could easily, an outfit is easily about $140 with the drop for a shirt and a pant.
Can we keep it funky on something else since we're here and we're talking about Amazon the Drops? Mm-hmm. I feel like Amazon the Drops also expose who can rock clothes, who has great style, but you ain't a designer. I feel like that was also exposed through the Amazon the Drops because some of them Amazon the Drops weren't hitting. And look, one of the people that I think for me, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be the one. To me, I think she had 2 collections. Both of them were a flop to me.
Who is it?
I feel so bad saying it.
No, this is the tea. Come on, we talking.
Hello Lux. I do not think her Amazon Drops.
I knew you was going to say it.
That pale yellow, the damn lavender, throw that shit on white. What are we doing? Who is wearing this butter yellow? No. Flop. Both of them. 2 times.
I didn't cop anything from Target, but did she redeem herself?
We'll get to that when we spill the tea.
Okay.
That's part of the tea.
I feel like this could be a part 2 because we could really keep going because there's other things that we didn't touch.
We should do a part 2 because this is a good one. This is really good. We'll do a part 2, y'all.
Okay. Because I'm ready to get into the tea.
so let's get into the tea. We're talking about influencing. We are talking about making it as an influencer, how the influencing game has changed. Our good sis, Miss Janae Naylor, Miss Hilo Lux, had a Target drop with the Future Collective Target drop, which I think is amazing. She took you on a journey, the 1-year journey, but beyond that, she worked at a Target. I think she was a manager at a Target store. And so to me, it's even more so a full circle moment from going to working for the company as like a manager to you are collaborating with the company and putting out your own line. That is amazing. So I'm not taking anything away from that. However, we did just talk about some people are great at styling, I think, other people's clothes. It does not mean you are a designer. I think her collection with Target was a hit and miss. I think it, and I think it's always going to be that, because I think there are things, people have different styles and all of this, but her pieces for me, and I think she explained it as she wanted to have resort pieces. She felt like she never had on I can't remember if it was on a live I tuned into or what, because she did a couple of lives, but she was essentially saying like, I did this for me. Like she was like, I never have the right resort wear is what she was saying. So she kind of said like, this was for me, but also, for you to take for your vacation. That's how we're marketing it to the public. I just be looking at some of this shit like, girl, are you really gonna wear this on vacation? Like, who's wearing this? Like, I'm not, like, I don't know. And then it comes down, then it's like, is it me? Because I don't know. Have you even looked? Have you scrolled? Have you seen any of the pieces?
Not quite. To be honest, I came across your LTK post, and that's like as much as I've seen, but I haven't really looked at her stuff like that. You know what? I should do that now while we're on.
Do that while we're doing like right now. Yep. And if you go to her LTK, you could probably get a visual of all of the different pieces. Mm-hmm. The pieces that you saw me put on my LTK were really the only things that I liked out of the collection. And she had a lot of pieces in that collection. And I don't know if it was just the piece itself. I don't know if it's my body style. And again, look, if you look at me and you look at Janae, we are not the same body style. Janae she's short, but she is petite in the sense of she's slender, doesn't have big boobs. She's not real curvy or like, when I say curvy, I mean like mid-size, plus size curvy. She's a petite woman. She's a small woman. She's like a size 4, I think. And I feel like her collection, to me, it definitely reads that. Like some of the denim dress, I think that denim dress is beautiful, but I have the shortest waist, and where that dress would drop on me, it just wouldn't even make fucking sense. So it's like things like that I know you can't account for every customer and everybody's body shape, but even just some of the styles, I'm just like, this is what we got.
I mean, I'm looking at this red blazer mini dress. Just the structure,
it looks off. I've seen it.
That doesn't even look good on the model. Love the color. I love the idea of the dress.
The idea of the dress.
It will just flare at the bottom. I love the brown knit dress, the ankle length.
That definitely screams resort. Mm-hmm. Some of the pieces scream resort. Some of the pieces scream, I don't know where I'm going in this. I don't know.
The denim killed it. The denim, the denim corset and the jeans. Love.
Now, that's what I got.
I see you rocking that.
I got those 2 pieces because, and I ended up I did go back and get like a corset dress, and it has like a little bit of a drop waist and a bubble. I got the striped one, not the black one. So, but it was like, I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
I can say I tried on the jeans in store because I did go to Target did I go that day? It may have been that day on Sunday when it dropped. Carter and I went to Target, and I just so happened I had already ordered the jeans, but I was like, I'm in the store. Let me just try them on. Now I did try on a 1 size larger, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a jean junkie. Kiara knows this. If you know me, I love me some jeans. I don't see me keeping them at this point. Now I'm gonna try them on in the other size, but at this point, I was just kind of like,
what are you not feeling about them? What weren't you feeling?
I like jeans. Jeans can be cheap, but I need them to look and feel expensive. In her photos in the jeans, I think they photograph differently than what you really are putting on. Because, honey, I put them jeans on in the store, and I was like, shits might be going bad, bitch. Like, I don't know. And then I've also heard, I didn't try on everything, but I'm in a couple of groups. Like on Facebook, they have the Black women who love Target and all of that. A lot of people are saying that they feel like the fit isn't right. Now, I don't think that's her fault, but like the sizing is off. So like the sleeveless, it looks almost like a sleeveless blazer button down. People are saying that sizing as well. People had to size up 2 and 3 times just to, because she doesn't have boobs. So it's like, are we testing these things on people that do have curves and boobs and things? I don't know.
I mean, the models look a little.
Who chose them? I don't know. I'll also say this though. I don't know, like Kalana Barfield, when her line dropped.
You took the words out of my mouth.
It wasn't you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so that's all I'm saying. And that's not a knock against anybody, but I think it shows you who has an eye for style and who has an eye for design. And I can honestly say, I don't even know if I would have that keen of an eye for design. I can design for my body, but when I have to think about everyone, like the masses, I can see where that would be a little bit trickier for me because I know my body. I know what's going to look on my body, but I know I have big boobs, no waist, and long legs. So I can envision the way things are going to look on me. Honey, just that one, I don't care who you are. That jean dress, you can almost look at and see, damn, who is that long? You have to be a certain body type to make that, pull off that dress. So that's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Stylist Key. Let us know.
Because I was just about to say, I think that definitely shows who's a stylist and who's a style content creator. Because you know how to style yourself. And of course, you're still helping the girlies on what to wear. But when it comes to, if I have 5 different models and all different body shapes, pear size, apple size, triangle, in my head now, I can't give you what I'm going to wear. It's not going to look the same on you. And I mean, if it took a year-long process and people are complaining about the fit, then like to your point, that says a lot, because how much research or how much what did that fitting process really look like? You know, if you think about Fenty, Rihanna has the shit down pat. I can't say anything wrong about Fenty because every time I get something from Fenty, the shit fits me perfect. I can't even stunt. Like, she put in work on understanding different body sizes. We all as women have different body sizes, height, shapes, all of that. So if I can tell from a photo that a plus size model, she doesn't even look comfortable in the garment itself. And we're just looking at photos, and that black corset top, I can see it on you. And I'm like, I'm going to just wait for you to tell me, because I don't like the bottom part.
I don't either. But see, I'm doing that. Look, I'm taking one for the team on that one and I almost bought a few more pieces to take one for the team. But I was just like, girl, I'm not about to. I don't want to be one of those. I don't want to be returning shit to Target and it's her stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm just really worried about
what people need to see, though, because not everything that we get from these influencers are going to fit right or are going to work. So if you do a real, like, I'm trying it on and I want y'all, and it's not even to come for her, because she can't expect that everything's going to fit us perfect. It's real talk. Like, yeah, this didn't work for me. What y'all think? And you know it's a nay. And they're like, let me see what y'all gonna say. Are y'all saying yay because it's her or because it doesn't fit me right? Now, let's talk real style at that point and see what people say.
That's why I bought this dress. I thought the denim dress for me personally was just going to be laughable. Like, I put it up to me in the fitting room because that was still in stock at my Target as well. And it was just like, I looked at Carter and I said, I'm just not even going to do. I ain't even got it in me. It has these buttons. The buttons are a little bit hard to unbutton because it's not like a traditional button. And it was just, I was just like, I ain't even gonna worry about it. I can look at this dress right now, and where it should drop is going to be, it's so much space where it should be and where it is on me because I don't have a torso. It was just like, no. Now, I've seen people that it looks great on, but me, no. So I don't know. It also just, it makes me think about, though, too, And again, this is no shade to her and no knock to her, because you do what you want to do, honey. You made it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But are people thinking, like, if I'm gonna be collaborating with Target, and this is just me and my mentality, I want it to be things that I would wear, obviously, but I don't want it to literally be like, this is just for me. Like, so do
Mm-hmm.
we, as an influencer, can we think more? Okay, you're talking about, she was like, I was ready to go on vacation and I needed some resort looks, and this is what it was. I need for it to be more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
I
didn't
don't know.
know. I didn't hear her speak about the collection, but when you first said that, I'm like, that's like stylist 101. You never dress a client like as you would dress yourself.
I feel like if I can't see you, Janae, in it, then I know that it, like, they were just like, hey, we just need to add some shit on here at the end, because some of it just doesn't even, it's not working together for the entire collection. Kalana's was very cohesive.
I was about to say,
And this one just a little, it feels a little like, some of it feels like resort, some of it feels like elevated workwear, some of it feels like I don't know where I'm going.
I was about to say, if you really look at resort time for Fashion Week, like when they have swim week and things like that, you'll see it has to be cohesive. You're pretty much taking a woman, if we're going on a vacation Monday through Friday, her looks flow well. And it's like, damn, like what designer are you wearing? And like to your point, it's like the red dress, the green. And then, I mean, again, of course, you get some basics in there, but nothing really is like outside of that denim piece and that denim dress. Everything is pretty much
The
meh.
shit that sold out shocked me. When I was looking at I was just like, that purple, it was like the purple button down vest thing and the short. I said, this shit is sold out. Who's buying this shit? I don't even like lavender. But it
I
was,
would get that brown knitted dress. That is something I would definitely wear on the beach.
I
Or
also
even
liked,
one
did you,
shoulder,
the top?
like brown and white print.
It's like looks almost like a zebra type of. I
Mm-hmm.
did. I like that. I thought that was okay in white, but what I didn't like about that is if it's not tucked in, it flares out. And so with someone with big girls and no torso, it's a no. Like if you scroll through the pictures and you see where it's out, the bottom part of it was just no. And that's not a shirt that I always want to have to tuck in. I did also like her. It almost looks like crochet. I don't know what the actual material is, but it's like a mini skirt and the little, like a bralette type of a top. I thought that was cute, but I didn't get it because I was just like, it wasn't giving enough. But yeah, like I am super proud of her, and I do want to say that none of this is shade. I just think that it is thinking about, when you're thinking about collections and things like that, like you have to really think about it. And I'm not saying she didn't think about it, but I'm just saying it almost didn't feel like her to me. That's what was, I think, the most wild. I was just like, some of these things I can see her in, but some of this I'm like, is she really gonna wear, like, would she wear this? So I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I don't know.
Good job, Janae. Congrats, kudos, sold out. I mean, that was the goal, met the threshold, and let's see. I'm gonna go. Well, I'm taking some break from the gram right now. I'm like, I had to detach, but I would love to. I'm interested in seeing what the girlies and how they're styling it and things like that. So
The only other tea I had, you want me to spell the other tea, or do we just want to let bygones be bygones?
I think we need to touch on it just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you've been living under a rock, you may not know this, but video footage did drop on Friday. Disturbing video footage of Diddy and Cassie in a hotel. I think this was back in 2016, where he essentially chased her down. Like, for me, looking at that video without audio and all of these things, there was so much that was said and we didn't hear anything. Her running down the hallway with no shoes on, to me, that was telling of the fear that you had. Like, I've got to get out of here, for you to, like, I don't even give a shit, I'm out of here. And you running down the hallway, she's barefoot, He comes barreling down the hallway in a towel, this big, like, I was like, did I miss the point that Diddy was this huge? Like, he looks, I don't know if it's the contact, I don't know, but he just looks so big running down this hallway. He grabs her, throws her to the ground. She immediately just kind of goes into the fetal position, which also spoke volumes, because that tells me that this happens. Like, you're not trying to fight back. Your first few times you're going to try to fight back. When you get knocked down on your ass and you know where this is going, that's when you just lay down and you're like, I already, you know what I'm saying? So that whole video literally gave me chills for the worst reasons. He kicked that woman while she was down. Like, there was just so much. He drug her, like dragging her back to it was just, all of it was just too much. But we needed to see it, because there were still people out here trying to defend this man. And I think we touched on it way back then when they first settled and she came out with everything. Like, he did that shit. Like, we said it back then, because it was just, so for him to go on this campaign talking about it's a smear campaign and the truth, time tells the truth and all of this, and then the video drops, and 2 days after that, on Sunday, he drops an apology video on Instagram where he is apologizing for his behavior. He hit rock bottom. He had to go to rehab, but he's trying to become a better man and do this every day. A lot of people came for him and said he never said Cassie's name. I did see something that dropped that said in their settlement, they were not allowed to say each other's names. So I don't know if that's why he didn't say her name. I'm sure it is. Is it too little too late? Like, what are your thoughts? It's just
a little too late. Okay. It's the proof in the pudding. It's there's so many conversations and then accusations, and then to actually see it in your face is so disturbing and so disheartening, that even when she came out with the news, because it kind of just came out of nowhere, like Cassie suing him, and she said, we like, wait, what? So we were definitely blindsided by that, but to see it in real format and to see this woman running, trying to escape, and he is just running out there, didn't even care if somebody was going to open their door. Like, prime example, like when we were on the cruise, there was a couple fighting, and the first thing I did, and I don't know why we did that, it's like not smart, opened the door to see, what is going on? And the guy was like damn near right in front of our door. No one came out of their room. He didn't even care if he were to be seen. To me, I'm like, how did anyone not witness this? Because you were loud. The way he threw her to the floor, like he said, kicking her when she was down. There's no throwing the vase at her. And then when I saw the other video where he was recording her when she was under the blanket.
I didn't see that one.
Yes, he was recording her. She didn't show her face. And then it kind of cut off. And he was like, when you got your girl something, and it cuts off. And she's just bundled up and she's not showing her face. And he's like, yeah, you don't want to say nothing now. You don't want to say nothing now. And it's like, just that bit of a video just shows like all of the hidden stuff we haven't seen that lady has experienced.
Endured.
And I feel so bad for her, because now she has to kind of relive this moment, because now the whole world really knows.
Now we're all seeing it. And you still have motherfuckers trying to defend this nigga. Yeah. Like, I get everyone trying to say, like, well, who was in his corner and who was letting this happen? And at the end of the day, y'all, he is like, yes, they said the same about R. Kelly, but he had these people in his camp, and why didn't they stop? I don't know why they didn't, but why was he putting all of these people in a position that we have to try to figure out what to do? Because this man, I don't think people realize how much money. That's a lot of fucking money, is what I'll say. And if your job is to report to this man, and this is how your family eats, I'm not saying that you should turn a blind eye. I'm not saying that you should continue to work for him. But at the same time, you're seeing what he's doing to all these other people. And then you feel like, what can I do this? At the end of the day, Diddy's a fucked up human. I don't care who was in his camp and who could have did what and who could have said something and stepped up. why are you an individual acting like this, like that I should even have to be in the position to make these, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Everyone should be held accountable for their role, but at the end of the day, he's held accountable because he's the one that put everybody in the position to have to witness and go through all of that shit. Like, it's wild.
I mean, and that's the definition of fear, right? Like, they're afraid. And to your point of thinking about their families and how they're going to eat, they're afraid because now they're trying to open up that door about Kim Porter, reopen the Kim Porter case and really look into that as well, and how she also was abused allegedly, and the things that she endured. And it baffled my mind going back to R. Kelly about the things that the piss camp knew, the extent of what people saw. When they said that, I don't know what I was watching today, and then they said Diddy pretty much lured, because he had found out that Kim Porter was dating someone, and he lured her on a yacht, and she thought that they were like celebrating, and they got to a fight, and he bust her nose. He bust her nose, and there were several people that were like, yeah, he bust her nose, but nobody talks about it. And there were like articles in the past that mentioned it, but it's kind of like he cleaned all that up. He had them clean all that up in the digital space, and now nobody, you can't really talk about it. But it's that fear, it's money, it's power.
It's power.
It's what we do as a society. When you're a celebrity, we put you on a pedestal. How can we put this person that's on a pedestal? How can we tear their image down? We don't want to do that to Diddy. Diddy's love. We don't do that to Diddy.
And I was telling Matt the other
brainwashed.
And I did tell him, Matt was like, we should have known when he's changing his name and all of this. And I said, look, we was all rocking with him through his name changes. But one thing I will say, y'all, I'm gonna go on. I didn't rock with Love. Fuck that shit. Like, I'm grown at this point, nigga. I'm not calling you Love. Like, what are we talking about? You gonna be Diddy until you dead, okay? And it's like, I get it. I do understand the argument of where, like, what was his camp doing? But like you said, that power and that fear. And at the end of the day, Diddy it wasn't like he came from a suburban and he just like a suburbia area. That nigga is hood. Like, he is not just a regular run-of-the-mill person, Right. So that to me instills even more fear into other people. You seeing what he is physically doing to this person, and you think I'm gonna be the person to go say something? No, because I'm gonna be next, and I ain't his girl. He's gonna kill me. Like, that's some people's mentality at the same time. And a lot of people had to get themselves removed from the situation that they were in with him. But I just think it's telling, because it's like, to me, still people are trying to like take the ownership off of him and still place the blame on all these other people. But if he wasn't acting the way that he was acting in the first place, we wouldn't even be talking about this. Do you see? Like, so it's like, it's still him at the end of it. It's still him. He's going to have to answer to that at the pearly gates. The person that was standing next to him isn't going to have to answer for his actions. That he's going to have to answer for his own actions with it. But that's what it is. Like, I can't answer for Diddy and this person and that. I can only answer for me when it's my time. So it's wild though. It's wild.
It's crazy how the high you can get, because he was just on a high with Carisha. Because he kind of was like on a little hiatus before this high that Carisha came out. So he had somebody to like, because Diddy's getting older. Diddy's in his 50s. So Bad Boy is not what it is. So he's always rebranding himself, getting on Instagram, talking positivity. And then there's a low. And this is why I say, whatever you may not know when, whatever darkness that you do, it will always come to light. And you fuck around and mess with the wrong person or just do the wrong thing, that shit's gonna come out 10 times. 10 times. But some people are like, give him time to rebrand himself. And some people are like, he's done for. You're surpassed Chris Brown. You're not Chris Brown. We can't forgive you.
Dude, it's too much. Okay. Too much. And I think the video, like, for me, it was already too, like, for me personally, I didn't need the video to solidify that nigga did that shit. Like, me and Key talked about, you can go back podcast episodes ago. And we was like, he did that shit. Like, I don't know how much of all of it, but that shit, it happened in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And then now people seeing the videos, and now celebrities are reneging when they were taking his side, and she's just looking for a quick payday, and your Slim Thugs, and all these people are trying to come back and be like, oh, we're sorry, Cassie, and da 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 da. And it's like we already knew. So it was like, for me, y'all do what y'all want to do. There's some people out there still listening to R. Kelly music. I can be honest and tell you, I don't. We do not listen to R. Kelly at all anymore. It's a wrap. But I Believe I Can Fly came on Space Jam, and I really wanted to turn that shit off when Carter was like, "Oh, shut up! I'm gonna let you have I Believe I Can Fly, little nigga." But outside of that, no. But seriously though, like, for me, he's done. I mean, I get people can change, but I think what is so telling about this in particular is, right up until the point that this video is now leaked and it comes out, like, nigga, you still trying to act like these are all lies and none of this happened, and this is I think that is what it now. And then 2 days after the fact, I hit rock bottom and I had to go to rehab. Nigga, what was y'all on, Cole? What was y'all on? Let us know, because we don't. What kind of shit was you on?
In 2016, Diddy made the Forbes billionaire list. He was not in rock. He did not hit rock bottom. I'm like, come on. 2016, Diddy was doing the Bad Boy reunion tour. He did not hit rock bottom. Okay.
He definitely didn't go to rehab. So
fame is a hell of a drug. Fame, and I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong on what my theory is if you weren't a narcissist before fame, once you get fame, you can become a narcissist.
You can.
Because I really feel like just watching him in that video, it's his, I'm Diddy. Who do you think you are? I'm him. I'm untouchable. And just how he was, we couldn't hear it, but you could tell.
He's talking about God give me grace and mercy. Nigga, you don't even believe what you're saying because you can't even look at the camera and say it.
Wasn't the right words. Just shut up. The Lord is calling back.
We don't need to see
you. Don't say anything else after this. Just don't say anything else.
We don't need to see you. Take your money and go do something. Because we don't need to see you right now. We don't need to see you right now.
Yeah. Hefty. I mean, it is trending, and we send our prayer and love to Cassie and other, I don't even want to say just women, just other domestic violence. You say victims? I don't want to call them victims.
People that are survivors of domestic violence, because
they have been triggered from that video, because that's some real shit. That is some real shit. And we didn't see everything that she has endured, and we just send her lots of love and prayers, and happy that she found love again, and she has that
two beautiful babies.
Yes.
Her man loves her.
Look at God. God will always reveal the truth, and God will always show you what is real. And
he'll always give you back more than what you lost too. Like, you think that she lost so much because she's no longer with Diddy. She gained so much more when she left him. She's got her husband, someone who loves her, someone who I don't know this to be true, but I have a feeling that was who pushed her to go forward with all of the things. Because you know what I'm saying? Now she's got her babies, and it's like, just shout out to her. God will always give you more than what you lost. So just remember that.
When you do good, and I have a shirt on today that says, do good. When you're a good person and God knows your heart, it may take some time. You don't know how long, because I can only imagine. Let's call it a buck. Cassie in that position, don't no woman want to struggle. Mm-hmm. You're going to put up with shit. You're going to put up with shit to be in that lifestyle, because you ain't got to struggle. You ain't got to worry about bills, none of that. So sadly, sometimes you endure that type of behavior. And I've had women tell me, you don't know what it is to keep up with a man in that. And as a high profile man and as a woman, what you have to endure just to be in that lifestyle. And it sucks that sometimes there's that darkness of it, just to be a woman and you want to be his arm candy. But she got out, and from what we're seeing on the outside, it sucks that she had to go through this to get a large lump sum of money, but she found the light. She found her kids. Somebody posted a TikTok like showing pictures of her and Diddy compared to her husband, how she really was never smiling with Diddy.
Ever.
And you see where her husband, she's smiling and looks happy. And now look at the darkness and look at the dog, the monster within, how he can't even smile. It will come back full circle.
It will. It will. It will. So that was the inspo. I feel like that was your cup of inspo. Key just gave it to you all. That was beautifully said, sis. This was a good episode. I do think we should do part 2 of our influencer because I think we had a lot more to discuss. But then look, we get on here and we get to talking, which is what y'all love. So we giving the people what y'all want, but we'll bring this back. We'll circle back to this episode, part 2 of this episode real soon.
Don't let the people know where they can find us.
You can find us on all of your favorite streaming platforms, Google, Spotify, and Apple, as well as on YouTube. We are definitely trying to get back in our posted on YouTube bag. So check us out on our YouTube page. Leave us some comments because we can actually respond in real time. You can also leave suggestions. I don't think I've said that a lot this season, but you can always leave us suggestions for a topic because you never know. Something that you suggest may become a topic on the show. And don't forget to buy your girls a cup of coffee. This was a good ass episode. If no other episode you wanted to buy us a cup of coffee for, I think this is the one. So buy us a coffee. We love you guys, and we will talk to y'all next week.
Ciao.